Good morning, everyone. Today we have the pleasure of having Dr. Khokar, Department of Plant Physiology, Agricultural Biochemistry and MAPs, IGKV Raipur. Sir has chosen a topic of deliberation, nutraceutical value of mushrooms. Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible. Please start the slideshow and start. Dharmender, sir, please start.
Sir, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, good morning to all. Myself, Dr. Dharmendra Khokar, working as assistant professor in Department of Plant Physiology, Agriculture Biochemistry, and Medicinal Aromatic Plants. Indira Gandhi Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Raipur. So, it's a broad topic: nutraceutical value of mushroom. So, nutraceuticals, it's itself is a big topic. So, I would like to start with the nutraceuticals. So, what are the nutraceuticals? When we understand the nutraceuticals, then we will go further. So, by definition, the nutraceutical from nutrition and pharmaceutical was coined by Dr. Stephen in 1989. The term nutraceutical is being commonly used in marketing. So, this is the word for marketing purpose basically. So, the nutraceuticals is a broad umbrella term that is used
Sir,
to
can you start
describe
the
any
slideshow?
product derived
Can
from
you?
food.
Hello, sir. Can you start the slideshow?
Hello,
Yeah, can you start the slideshow because it's not started yet?
so
Hello, sir.
slide is not visual.
Slide is visible,
Hello,
but the
slide is not
show,
visual, sir.
sir, slide is visible, but at the bottom right corner there is 64 next to his slideshow. Can you press that button?
So
If
I
you
have
don't,
pressed that in my
so
window. It is in full screen.
no, for us it is not, sir. Can you stop the sharing and then share entire screen? You have chosen only a window. Please share entire screen.
Okay, sir. Entire screen. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Because when you start the slideshow, it becomes a separate window. That window was not visible to us.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So better option is to choose entire screen. Yes. Can you please start the slideshow? Uh, Left to it.
Now it's visual, sir. Okay. So the nutraceutical
No.
in
Slideshow is
1989,
still
the
not.
term
Yeah.
nutraceutical.
Perfect. Can you press the hide option at the bottom? Hide. Yes.
Okay, sir.
No, sir. Go to the PPT and go to the PPT again. Go to the slideshow, sir. Yeah. Start the show.
Okay.
Resume the show.
So now it's visual, sir.
Loading, sir. Just yes. Perfect. Please continue, sir.
So the now it's visual, sir.
Yes.
We are facing some electricity problems, so that's why the setup is not on the place. So the nutraceutical was coined by the Dr. Stephen in 1989, and the term nutraceutical is being commonly used in market purpose. So by definition, the nutraceuticals is a broad umbrella term that is used to describe any product health benefits in addition to the food. And another definition is the nutraceuticals can be defined as a substance that may be considered a food or part of a food that provides medical or health benefits, like the prevention and treatment of diseases. Might be defined as substances that have physiological benefits or provide protection against chronic diseases, improve health, delay aging, prevent chronic diseases, increase the expectancy, and support structure or function of the body. So in summary, so nutraceuticals are the substances come from the food sources and they provide some physiological health benefits to us. And what are the ingredients? What may be the ingredients? There may be some number of ingredients which can be recognized as nutraceuticals from the food sources. The number of nutraceuticals: prebiotics, probiotics, premixes, proteins, carbohydrates, and some minerals such as zinc and folic acids. And other than these, there may be some other secondary metabolites. Those can work as the nutraceuticals, or those can provide us some health benefits or can protect us from the diseases. So what is the difference between nutraceutical and pharmaceuticals? While we are discussing that the nutraceuticals are supposed to prevent from some diseases, then the term come the pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical supplements have high concentrations of a single or small group of vitamins and minerals, while nutraceuticals have all the benefits of natural foods. Means in pharmaceutical, we provide a single molecules or a group of some molecules in higher dose to prevent the diseases, to cure the diseases. While in nutraceuticals from the food ingredients. So this is the basic difference between nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals. And how big the nutraceutical market? Because we all know that without any interest, no one work for anything. So the main thing is the price and market. So the global nutraceutical market should reach $285 billion by 2021, from 198.7 billion in 2016, at a compound annual growth rate 7.5%. So it's a big market, and day by day it is the growth is exponential in nutraceutical markets. That's why we all are interested in nutraceuticals. They may be from any source, any food material. So what are the properties of nutraceuticals? The importance of edible comes from mushrooms related to their composition and presence of phytochemicals. Compounds challenging antioxidative activities of edible mushrooms comes from an array of biomolecules from the carotenoid and polyphenols groups. So the main nutraceuticals available in any food source, they mostly comes from the secondary metabolites. So the secondary metabolites like alkaloid, phenols, terpenoids, these are the secondary metabolites which are available in food materials, in any food materials, in lesser or major quantity. So the food material which have these secondary metabolites in higher quantity, that food can be provided as nutraceutical. So the mushroom are well known to have rich various bioactive compounds that are widely used as raw material for the development of functional foods. So various type of foods are being prepared by bakery and some other industry. And as we all are aware that some biomolecules are being extracted from the mushroom, having the health benefit or the disease cure capacity, and they are being extracted from the mushrooms and they are being sold by the pharma industry, or they are being synthesized. They have been identified from the mushrooms and they are being synthesized by the chemical process, and they are being sold from the pharma industry. So mushroom can emerge as the nutraceutical food for the next generation. We are witness for that. Phenolic compounds such as myristicin, quercetin, caffeic acid, catechin, and pyrogalol are present in all edible mushrooms. These the molecules, myristicin, quercetin, they all are available in some other plants also, but in lesser quantity. In mushrooms, they are available in good enough quantity, which can be able to cure some diseases or can protect us from some infections. So therefore, besides antioxidants components, phenolics, carotenoids, ascorbic acid, tocopherols, ergosterols, and polysaccharides, many found constituted in both food bodies, mycelium, and culture of mushrooms. So different edible mushrooms, cultivars, and wild species are reported to possess varied concentration of phytochemicals and antioxidant activities. As we are going through the various lectures, we will be able to know that various species of mushrooms have all the components, secondary metabolites, in various concentrations, and some of have higher concentrations, some of have lesser concentrations. So on that basis, the species are varied. Major phytochemicals, as I have told, alkaloid, tannin, flavonoids, saponins, and cardiac glycosides are available in mushrooms. So what detected in mushrooms are polysaccharides, proteins, glycoproteins, unsaturated fatty acids, phenolic compounds, tocopherols, ergosterols, lectins. So the some basic, the primary metabolites are also work as nutraceuticals. Suppose the polysaccharides, proteins, and fatty acids are the primary metabolites. However, some molecules from the primary metabolites work as the nutraceutical. So we will go through this. These edible mushrooms have also been described as a rich source of minerals and vitamins, along with the above protein, polysaccharides, and fats. High quality of proteins include most of the essential amino acids. So as we should know that proteins are important for the growth and development of our body, and all the proteins available in pulses and some other sources from plants are not that much important, because very few people know that the proteins are composed of amino acids. So the amino acids is the basic backbone of the proteins, and in human body there are 20 types of amino acids which are present in all the proteins, and out of 20 amino acids, 8 to 10 are essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are those amino acids which cannot be synthesized in our body, and they have to provided from the outer source. So the amino acids which cannot be synthesized in our body, we have to take from the outer sources, means with the food material. So the proteins which have higher percentage of essential amino acids, the proteins are most important to human health in place of general proteins. So the mushrooms proteins have higher percentage of essential amino acids. That's why the mushrooms are important. Mushrooms provide both digestible carbohydrates, cellulose, mannitol, glycogen, and glucose, and non-digestible carbohydrates, mannans, chitin, and the beta-glucan. So here again, I would like to discuss carbohydrates, digestible and undigestible. Yeah, non-digestible. So digestible carbohydrates are those can be digested with the help of enzymes in our intestine or in our body, and the undigestible or non-digestible carbohydrates, those cannot be digested in our body, and they come out with the feces. And the non-digestible part of carbohydrate is also equally important as the digestible part. So digestible part can be digested and can provide us the energy in the form of glucose, in the form of fructose. However, the non-digestible carbohydrate part, which contains the mannans, chitin, and beta-glucan, and some other monomers, that cannot be digested, and they come out with the feces. But they are having some health benefits. They are essential for the growth of microflora available in our intestine, large intestines. If we take in lesser amount the non-digestible carbohydrates, the microflora available in our large intestine will not be flourished and will create some problem in our digestion. And some vitamin B are also synthesized by the microflora available in the our intestine. So the digestible and non-digestible, both the carbohydrates are important equally. And the mushrooms contains some non-digestible carbohydrates. So that's why the mushrooms are also important, as in case of vitamins, the non-digestible carbohydrates. Both these carbohydrates from larger portion of the total carbohydrates are available in mushrooms. Further, on the nutritional composition, I would like to say that the protein composition, secondary metabolites composition, carbohydrate composition, the food body and the stock, they vary in their composition. There is a noticeable difference in their protein content, 34.19 gram per 100 gram of cap, however 20.96 gram per 100 gram of stock, and 30.48 gram per 100 gram of the cap with the stock. So these are the variation up to 14%, we can see here. Up to 40% in protein content variation in stock and the cap. Food body of the Pleurotus has significant nutritional values and highly valuable protein concentrates. So sometimes the protein as food supplement in concentrate forms. These are the some basic approximate compositions of some mushroom species. So they are equivalent to the normal vegetables. So moisture is not important. Protein 2.9% in dry base on wet basis, 2.9% in agaricus, and we can see here the vegetable is also and fat is also available in the mushrooms, but in less amount. That is required in less amount also in human food composition. The carbohydrate and the fibers as and caloric compositions is very much equivalent to the normal we use in our daily life. So the polysaccharides we would like to discuss here. Polysaccharides are known as one of the most potent and common compounds derived from mushrooms. The most common monosaccharides detected in mushrooms polysaccharides were glucose, galactose, fructose. So these are the normal monosaccharides: glucose, galactose, and fructose. These all are available in all normal food materials. However, xylose, mannose, sucrose, ramenose, arabinose, cellulose, and mannitols, these are not the common monosaccharides which are available in polysaccharides. However, these monosaccharides are available in the form of polysaccharide in mushrooms. So that's why the mushrooms are important. Some of the mushrooms polysaccharides health benefits activities. Lentian from Latinus edodes, Schizophyllum from Schizophyllum, Pleuron from Pleurotus, and this Ganoderma from the Ganoderma has been extracted. Most of these have been and considered as the outstanding representative of D-glucans. So these are the various components, carbohydrate components, which have been extracted, isolated, and characterized from the mushroom species, various mushroom species, and they have their own health benefit and some other benefits. So health benefits characterized from the mushrooms. I can read few. Agaricus have hepatoprotective against CCL4 induced hepatic injury. Means the hepatic protection he can provide heteropolysaccharides, homogeneous polysaccharide, anti-tumor activity. Anti-tumor means anti-cancerous activity, and this one homogeneous polysaccharide again immune stimulatory activities. So nowadays, as we are facing the COVID-19 problem, and we all are in search of the enhance our immune system. So several people are taking several Ayurvedic formulations to stimulate their immunity. So the mushrooms also have here activities there, anti-tumor activities there, inhibit the proliferation of HeLa cells, anti-diabetic properties is there, and alternative cognitive impairment activity, anti-hyperlipidemia. Anti-hyperlipidemia means hyperlipid lipid concentration medicines. So the this mushrooms also have such type of activities, anti-hyperlipidemic, anti-tumor again, lung protection activity, anti-tumor activity. So such type of activities is being provided by the molecules which are available in various species in mushrooms. That's why the mushrooms are important and have important nutraceutical benefits. Beta-glucans, a water-soluble dietary of many edible mushrooms, are responsible for antioxidant, anti-cancers, anti-cholesteremic, and immunomodulating and neuroprotective activities. As we have seen in the table, several active compounds boost the immune system of the body and have anti-hypercholesterolemic activity, antiviral activity, and anti-cancer, and ameliorate and toxic effect of chemo and radiotherapy. So in Japan, lentinan, a complex carbohydrate, is isolated from a variety of mushrooms such as lentil. In such a way, several molecules, several compounds, several carbohydrates are being reported day by day from various health benefits, and working against some diseases, specific diseases like anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, like that. So the proteins and peptides, these are also important in our food content. In dry mushrooms, range from 228 and 249 gram per kg dry matter, which is much higher than other protein sources. Proteins and peptides are significant bioactive nutraceutical in mushrooms with multiple. Are the polymer of amino acids, as I have discussed earlier. The polymer of amino acids. So the small polymers can be written as peptides. Protein means big polymer molecules having a more number of amino acids. However, the peptides is a small chain of amino acid or a small group of amino acids. They both have their own health benefits. Proteins and peptides. Proteins can be digested easily in the intestine and can provide some essential amino acids. Bioactive peptides are also really some health benefits to our body. So benefits: enhancement of digestion and absorption of exogenous nutritional ingredient. This is the activity can be provided by the host defending the invasion of pathogens and the activities inhibition of some enzymes. So some peptides can inhibit the some peptides can work as the inhibitory molecule for the enzyme activities. Enzymes are the basic some metabolic reactions in our body, and our body, in fungal body, in virus body. So enzymes are available, interfere with the enzyme activity. The enzyme activity from the fungal source enzyme. This way, they can interfere with the growth of enzymes, virus, bacteria, and fungus. So the proteins and peptides in mushrooms with pharmaceutical potential have been found and named as ribosome inactivating proteins, RIPs, and ribonuclease and so these are some peptides which are available in various species of mushrooms, and they have been demonstrated as the non-immune proteins or glycoproteins binding to the carbohydrate of cell surface. So in earlier days, when the COVID-19 was at its hype, COVID-19 having the pinhead shape structures on the surface. So the lectins have been demonstrated as the non-immune proteins or glycoproteins binding to the carbohydrate cell surface. So the surface is important when we discuss the inactivation of virus, inactivation of bacteria and fungus. The surface of the cell is important, and the lectins bind with the surface carbohydrate available in the surface of the cells. So that's where the lectins provide the protection against the virus, bacteria, or fungus. And so lectins possess the significant activities of fungal activities. So lectins are important, and lectins are available in mushrooms in plenty. The family of bioactive proteins utilized as adjuvants for tumor treatments. So the adjuvants are the molecules or the supporting media which is used to treat the tumor cells. So these are the some proteins which have some health benefits from various sources of mushrooms. So the pluripotent activating toll-like receptor, anti-tumor activity again from Ganoderma lectins, anti-tumor activity, cytotoxic, and pro-apoptotic activity. These have been reported again from Agaricus lectins, immunomodulatory activity. So various type of activities have been reported from various proteins or various peptides extracted from the mushrooms. This table have further the ribonuclease extracted from mushrooms have been proved as Staphylococcus aureus, Pseudomonas, and Pseudomonas fluorescens at the RNA levels. So the ribonucleases means ribonucleases are the enzymes which digest, which cut the RNA. So this way, the extracted peptides which act as ribonucleases can provide some benefit against these fungus and bacteria. So lackases are also important. Lackases are a widespread classes of enzymes and have been certified relating to the pathogenesis, immunogenesis, and morphogenesis of organisms. Moreover, lackases have also been important. Terpenes, for the secondary metabolites, terpenes, the terpenes obtained from mushrooms are considered as a cluster of volatiles, unsaturated hydrocarbons, which are classified as monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, and diterpenes, and triterpenoids. Sesquiterpenes obtained from mushrooms, including dramine, formenosin, lactaren, and some others are also available. And in mushrooms, terpenes have been proved associating with multiple health benefits, including antioxidant, antiviral, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, anti-malarial, and anti-cholinesterase activities. So all the molecules from the mushrooms, from carbohydrate, protein, terpenes, and other secondary metabolites have its own health benefits to human body. So this is the table again showing the terpenes and its health benefits, like inhibitory activity against nitric oxide production, antibacterial activity, moderate inhibitory effects, inhibitory activity on human against work the cancer, inhibition against nitric oxide production, cytotoxicity. So most of the molecules extracted from the mushrooms, terpene molecules, they all have some health benefits in human health. That's why the mushrooms and the terpenes from mushrooms are also important. Phenolic compounds, mushrooms, phenolic compounds mainly include the phenolic acids, flavonoids, benzoic acid, hydroxycinnamic acid, lignans, tannins, histamines, and oxidized polyphenols. So, significant bioactivity of phenolic compounds was antioxidant activity in biological systems. So, most of the phenolic compounds are supposed to provide the antioxidant activities in cell itself, acting as free radical inhibitors, peroxide decomposers, metal inactivators, or oxygen scavengers. So nowadays the antioxidants are also important, and antioxidant activity is also important. We all are witness that we start our life from morning, and first we take the toothbrush and paste, and we are witness in toothpaste also. The child provide the information to her mother, to his mother, that the paste has the antioxidants. So we can see that how much the antioxidants are important in our life. So and stress, due to stress in our human body, in cells, the free radicals are generated due to stress, and these free molecules like the carbohydrate, like lipid, like DNA, like RNA, which are very important in our human body cells. And after damage from the free radicals, they end up occurs due to the free radical activities. Free radicals change the DNA molecules, and when the DNA molecules is changed, it creates unlimited proliferation in cells and ultimately the cancer. So the antioxidants are also important for our good health. Specifically, phenolic compounds provide protection against several degenerative disorders, including brain dysfunctions, aging, and cardiovascular diseases. Aging is also related with the NDR capacity of scavenging free radicals and reactive oxygen species, which is essential for the biological process and molecular function of living organisms. Studies have revealed the bioactivities of mushrooms' phenolic compounds such as the anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, anti-cancer, and antiviral effects. The phenolic compounds extracted from mushrooms supposed to have these type of activities. Fat is also important. However, a very less amount of fat is available in mushrooms. Though the available fat, the quality of available fat is important. So, as in case of proteins, we discussed that proteins are synthesized with the amino acids, and amino acids are of 20 types of amino acids are available in proteins, and out of 20, 10 to 8 amino acids are essential amino acids. In the same way, the fat is constituted with the glycerol and fatty acids. So the fatty acids are important. So in fatty acids, there are several types of fatty acids. We can categorize them in two types basically, saturated or unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids means they do not have any double bond. However, unsaturated fatty acid means they have double bond at any places. And in unsaturated fatty acids, again we can categorize in monounsaturated fatty, polyunsaturated fatty acids cannot be synthesized in human body. That's why the polyunsaturated fatty acids are important for human health, and these polyunsaturated fatty acids have to be provided from the outside with the food source to the human health. So the fatty acids, polyunsaturated fatty acids, are the most common lipids in mushrooms. So that's why the mushrooms are important, because mushrooms have the lesser amount of fat. However, the quality of fat on the basis of polyunsaturated have been contributing to the reduction of serum cholesterol. So again, I would like to discuss the cholesterol, which is normally considered in the category of fat. The cholesterol is also important in our body. However, in general, cholesterol is not good for our health, as normally level of cholesterol creates the heart problem. However, we should know that the cholesterol is equally important for our health. Without cholesterol, the life cannot be able to survive. The cholesterol is the level of cholesterol is not good for health. So the fat health and some other sterols, which are molecules, they are also important in our body. Without the sterols, we cannot expect the life. So that's why these are also important. As we all know, the vitamin D comes in this category. So cholesterol is the major constituent as fat in mushrooms, and the ergosterol can be converted to vitamin D2. Vitamin D2, that is important. D3 is available in our human body, and D2 can be synthesized in mushrooms by exposing the mushroom with UV light, because the ergosterol, that is the precursor of the vitamin D2, is available in plenty in mushrooms. So after treating the UV light, ergosterol can be converted to vitamin D2. So that is important in the view to market the mushroom. So most of the human after 40, 45, they are facing the vitamin D deficiency, calcium deficiency. So as per the reports, 70% females beyond the 40 age, they are facing the vitamin D and the calcium deficiency in India. So that is important. So mushrooms can be marketed on that basis also, that after treating with the UV, the mushroom can have vitamin D2 per gram more than the requirement of the human body. Means after treating the mushroom, the vitamin D2 will be at level which can provide 1 gram of mushroom to the human body requirement can fulfill. So the trans isomers of unsaturated fatty acids have not been detected in mushrooms. As we all are aware that trans isomers of fatty acids is not good for our health, and mushroom do not possess the trans isomers of the unsaturated fatty acids. So that is good. The major sterol produced by mushrooms was detected as ergosterol, which is displayed the significant antioxidant properties also. Fatty acids that are extracted from Hygrophorus uranus have antifungal and antibacterial activities. So the fatty acid again is important for the antifungal and antibacterial activities. In addition, hygrophemides isolated from the fruiting bodies of Hygrophorus are important constituent of cell membranes that play important role as antigens and their receptors. So in this way, we can say that the mushroom have the major food components: carbohydrate, protein, and lipid. These are the three major components, food components, and all three food components have their own health benefit. There are some carbohydrates which have health benefits in mushroom. There are some proteins having the essential amino acids, peptides having the health benefits, and fat having the health benefit, and the phenols and some other flavonoids. They are also available in plenty in mushrooms, and they anti-tumor activities. Further, we would like to discuss that are nutraceuticals safe? We have discussed a lot regarding the nutraceuticals. Okay, they are important. They are health. They have some health benefits. They are possessing some antibacterial and this. But again, the question comes: are nutraceuticals safe? From a toxicological perspective, nutraceuticals are recognized generally as safe at dietary doses. So at dietary doses means if we take in excess, that may be toxic. But if we take mushrooms at the level of dietary supplements, that cannot be toxic. However, they are often consumed at higher doses in the form of nutritional supplements. So if we take in higher doses as nutritional supplements, then they may be toxic, because some anti-nutritional factors are also available in mushrooms, which can have some health bad benefits. had bad effects on health. So the mushrooms should be consumed in lesser amount, which can provide as the nutraceuticals to the need of our body. But as food supplement or as pharmaceutical agent, like in pharmacy, we provide the tablets in higher concentrations. So such type of food supplement or such type of doses can be toxic to human health. Nutraceuticals and food ingredients from herbal products may be contaminated with pesticides, heavy metals, and metalloids, mycotoxins, and radioactivity, and they may also be adulterated with drugs. So this is the normal conditions in any country when the human being get market and the higher price, they try to adulterant, they try to mix with some adulterant with the drugs. Sometimes we heard that in Ayurvedic drugs, we do not suppose to have the pharmaceutical drugs. But some Ayurvedic company mixes the pharmaceutical drugs with Ayurvedic drugs to provide the fast benefit. So this may be a bad thing related with the nutraceuticals. So these all are related to the mushrooms. And thank you. If anyone have some questions.
Any questions?
Good morning, sir. May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hello, morning.
Sir, myself, Dr. Pooja from Beti Mushrooms, Indore. Sir, my first question was that as you told that regarding secondary metabolite production in mushrooms. So as I have worked on some plants for dye production in secondary metabolite by tissue culture method. So I wanted to know that whether there are some secondary metabolites which are extracellular, and is there any list released or any publications related to that, so that we can come to know that which of the secondary metabolites are produced extracellularly?
Naturally, madam, extracellular or secretions are there in all the cells, in plants or in human or in animal cells. All the cell secrete some secondary metabolites. So there should be literature available. Should be there in
Regarding
net
mushrooms, sir,
or
I'm
in some
asking
journals. But
whatever
at the time, I do not have. Hello.
Ji sir, regarding mushrooms, I'm asking, is there any literature or some product, some list is there so that we can come to know which are released extracellularly?
At the time I don't have, but I can provide you.
Okay. And one more thing, sir, as you told that some companies, if they are adding some any of the drug or anything into the mushrooms and the nutraceutical products, some I would not like to take the name of any company, but there are some products in the market, because mushroom has already been very well known regarding weight loss and all, but there are few products in market which commit that mushroom is helping in gaining the weight and muscle gain and all. So I wanted to know what is the acceptability, and is there any such literature related to that mushroom can help in increasing the weight and weight gain and muscle gain?
But mushrooms have several species, and these species may vary
But is there any mushroom variety
maybe
which helps in
subspecies.
retaining hair?
So at present, I do not have any literature which report that the mushroom species, specific mushroom species is being recommended for the weight gain.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar, sir. I
Because
am Jagjit Mahapatra, talking from Devgarh, Jharkhand. I am basically a mushroom grower, and my query is that, as you told in the lecture, that UV treated mushrooms could be a better for marketing purpose. Okay. Then I want to ask you that, as we know that the sunlight contains UV rays, but it is filtered by the ozone layer. Okay. So then,
Okay.
as UV treatment, should we go for any UV cabin for that, or simply few minutes exposure to the sunlight would help me in that?
Sunlight exposure could be helpful up to some extent, sir. Because as you are saying that the UV is filtered through the ozone layer. However, some UV rays comes passes from the ozone layer, so the intensity of the UV is very less in sunlight.
Okay.
However, if we provide the UV rays directly to the mushroom body after harvesting or during the growing phase, so the ergosterol is there, and ergosterol can be converted by the UV treatment to the vitamin D2. So if we provide directly in a closed cabin, the intensity will be more and the conversion will be higher.
The second question related to this is that up to how much time we have to keep them in the UV cabin, and the second adding in that question is that it would vary from mushroom to mushroom varieties. Are you getting me, sir? Hello.
Sure.
Yes.
Because the ergosterol concentration, how much? Hello, I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the ergosterol concentration vary from species to species, and the vitamin concentration available in the mushroom. So if the higher concentration of ergosterol is available, then the if the ergosterol is lesser, then the D2 will be lesser.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
And regarding the time, you asked how
Hello.
much time we have to expose.
Yes, sir. I asked just how to decide it, that how much time I have to keep them.
Regarding this, I would like to say that there are some get the increased D2 up to a limit 2 hours, 3 hours, or depend on the available ergosterol. So how much in how much time? So this is the research part. Suppose the available ergosterol is in higher concentration, then naturally it requires more time.
Hello, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, can you hear me?
Hi, sir. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. So myself, Sunit Talukdar from Guwahati, Assam. So I'm basically just a mushroom cultivator. Sir, I want to know like
Okay.
around 2-3 things. So I want to know around 2-3 things.
Yes.
Like we know that the mushroom, I mean the edible mushroom which are collected from the wilds have more like medicinal properties. I mean, I don't know. I have like read in some research paper, like it was mentioned in that, like the ones collected from the wilds, uh, the same edible species which we cultivate in a control environment, and the same species of mushroom which is, I mean, collect from the wild one tends to have more medicinal properties than the one cultivated indoors. So, sir, like, is it possible?
Okay.
Like, is it, sir? First of all, yeah, is that is this thing fact? Is it true?
In the case of secondary metabolites, it is true. When we collect anything from the wild source that have a higher concentration of secondary metabolites, rather than the we grow in artificial.
Hello. So you went you became mute. Sorry,
Connection. Hello, I think sir has lost his connection.
uh,
We will conclude this session here. So, if you have any questions, please mail sir. We will share email ID with you soon.
can you? I mean, can you share the email ID? I had.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sir
We will
is
share
back.
email ID in chat. So, let's conclude this session. Thank you.
Sir is back online. Okay, we are okay. Concluding. Okay, fine.
Thank you, Dharminder sir, on behalf of NADCL and on behalf of participants. Thanks everyone.